Good afternoon, Oz Rodriguez. Welcome on VH Berries.
Thank you so much for having me. This is very exciting. Excited to talk to you about anything you want.
I am extremely grateful. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. It's a little rainy in Los Angeles, so that's kind of interesting. Doesn't happen a lot, but doing okay. You know, rainy Saturday.
It is a rainy Saturday, and after One Punch Man, One Stroke Man, I would like to tailor a custom superhero for you. One Frame Man.
Okay.
Because you are able to defeat every script on the first frame.
I like that very much. I'll take it.
Absolutely, Oz Rodriguez, and I am making a direct connection to a reference that you are making in your latest feature film called Miguel Wants to Fight.
Miguel. Let me that's how you pronounce his name in Espanol. Miguel.
Absolutely, Oz Rodriguez, Miguel, and I would love to discuss about this project. Could you tell us a little bit more about it?
Sure, I would love to. So Miguel Wants to Fight is the latest movie that I have made. It came out on Hulu last month in August. Or actually, yeah, it's almost October, but yeah, the movie came out in August. And it's the story of a teenager called Miguel who lives in a tough neighborhood where everybody fights. His best friends get into fight. His dad is a boxing trainer, but Miguel hides. He has a secret that he hasn't told his friends. He has never gotten into a fight. So, due to certain circumstances that happen into his life, he decides this is the week that I will try to get into a fight, and the world and the universe is telling him to not do it. So it's a coming-of-age comedy about a kid that wants to get in his first fight ever.
It is a coming-of-age comedy, Oz Rodriguez. And let's not maintain the perimeter. Instead, let's enter the battle to understand the creative geniuses behind these latest pieces of art, because Miguel is now my favorite character in the history of cinema. Because on Monday, 6 days until moving to Albany, Miguel is eating a muffin, but not any muffin, a blueberry muffin, which is a close cousin to the VH Berries muffin.
It's the strongest muffin there is. It's very important.
Training.
I love it.
Training is an important part of the process when it comes to be able to fight. Can you tell us a little bit more about the mental and physical preparation of Miguel?
Sure. So this kid, this teenager, he's 16. He's like I said, he's never been in a fight. So his friends tell him that he needs to visualize the fight beforehand. He needs to imagine himself having a fight with this bully that made fun of him in art class, and sort of visualize his victory. And his friends tell him to visualize his victory kind of like Bruce Lee did. So Miguel, in his head, in his dreams, he thinks he's a great fighter, like Bruce Lee, like Neo in The Matrix. So when he imagines himself fighting these bullies, he goes into his head and he becomes Bruce Lee. But, not as powerful or as skilled as Bruce Lee. It's a very comedic teen version of this. So it's very fun for us to recreate these iconic action sequences. Like in the first action sequence, he imagines himself as Bruce Lee, and it's a sort of a hodgepodge of a lot of Bruce Lee movies. Enter the Dragon, Fist of Fury, Game of Death. But also there's nods to Jackie Chan and Stephen Chow and Donnie Yen. So it was a really fun opportunity for me to express my love of action cinema in these silly fight scenes.
Absolutely, Oz Rodriguez, I can feel the emotion and the passion in your voice when you are mentioning those action scenes. And this feature film called Miguel Wants To Fight are teaching to us, the audience, multiple lessons. For example, the first one would be that fighting is better in the gym than in the street, because the street is made to go from point A to point B. And the lesson number 2 would be to stay away from Damien Delgado. Delgado.
Mm-hmm. He's the baddest man. You want to stay away from that man. Damien Delgado in the movie is just the bully that you do not want to mess with. There's rumors that he even killed a teacher. You know, he eats kitties for lunch. Like, you do not want anything to do with this guy, Damien Delgado. But of course, Miguel's going to bump into him at some point. So you have to watch the movie to see what happens.
Everyone has to watch this piece of art, Oz Rodriguez, to witness that battle. And Miguel wants to stay far from Damien Delgado, but also at the beginning of that feature film wants to stay away from Albany, a city 148 feet over the level of the ocean, a city and a place settled in 1614 and incorporated in 1686.
Wow. You got all the facts. That is not... that's not why he doesn't want to move. He doesn't care about how old it is or where they got incorporated. That's not his beef with Albany. The problem is he lives in Syracuse, and that's where all his friends are. That's where his life has been. And then one day his parents tell him, like, hey, we're going to move to Albany, because your mom is going to have a better opportunity there, a better job. And that at that moment, he became an Albany hater. He said, I don't care how old Albany is.
Absolutely, Oz Rodriguez. And one very crucial moment of that feature film is the opening scene, because it was strongly inspired by the action feature film that you personally enjoy, because it was recorded on a very specific format with some subtitles. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Sure. Yeah, the movie starts with Miguel making his version of a TikTok, and they're pretending they're making a Naruto in the park TikTok. It's very lo-fi. The effects are very bad, but it kind of shows. It shows Miguel's passion for these characters, for these worlds, for just his creative personality. He's not a kid that wants to get into fights. He wants to shoot a silly fight on his phone. And I felt like that reflected the youth of today. At least I wanted to. I'm a little older, but I see a lot of people on TikTok, or a lot of kids that are doing really cool and interesting, fun things. And I saw a lot of kids like Miguel that make their own like anime versions in the park. And I wanted Miguel to do that, to do a real dorky short film of him angry at his best friend because he owes him $5. Silly.
Absolutely, Oz Rodriguez, you wanted Miguel to do that dorky short film, and you just mentioned the fact that it was made with bad quality on purpose.
Yes.
And when I was witnessing and watching that feature film on Disney Plus, because I am in Canada, I was asking myself, where am I? Is it normal? Am I on the right place?
You're like, what is this? Is this a movie? Yes, but I'm glad you stayed. No, it also like it also sets up his creativity and his imagination, because later on we will see him diving into his imagination to sort of prepare himself for these fights that are upcoming that never happen.
Absolutely. Oz Rodriguez, those fights, at least most of them, never happened. And I truly feel that in addition to being a film director, you are also a philosopher and thinker of our times, because you are inspiring yourself from, for example, the art of war, because Miguel, by not fighting, is, according to me, making the right decision and finding the exit, because the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting.
That's really smart. I'm now going to take that and say that I always planned it that way. That Art of War was essential text in this film. No, but that's a great way to look at it. I think that's not his route. That's not his way of being. The universe is telling him not to fight, and I think it also sort of reflects on what it is to be a teenage boy at that time, when sometimes the world is telling you need to express yourself in a certain way or be physical, and he does not want to do that, or it's not in his nature to do that. So it's I'm glad we sort of tackled some of those ideas and concept comedically in a fun way of like, at the end of the day, the movie is just about Miguel needs to be comfortable being himself and be able to talk about his feelings and his emotions to his best friends. Like, the movie would be very short if he were to tell his friends how he feels. But he doesn't. He needs to go through a journey to understand that it is okay for him to be himself. And hopefully that's what if there are any young people that watch it, I hope that they get that message.
Moreover, Oz Rodriguez, the feature film, as you just mentioned, is delivering a very powerful message about this social pressure, for example, when it comes to being able to fight in any situations. For example, on my two favorite scenes, the one in the theater in which Miguel is directly going to sit at the place where he bought his ticket, which is section B, seat number 4, and with his 1 gallon cup of popcorn, or also in front of the Buckingham Market parking, aggressively hugging.
I love it. Yeah, those were a couple moments where Miguel got close to fighting, but it's just not in his nature. He wanted to watch RRR. That was more important to him than getting into a fight. And I don't know if you've seen that movie, but I get it. It's a great movie, and it's 3 hours long. You have to pay attention. You can't be fighting, So that's just who Miguel is. He would rather watch a wonderful action movie than get into some fight about some spilled popcorn. That's who our boy is. I mean, you saw RR, right? Like, he punches a tiger.
Absolutely, Oz Rodriguez. He is punching a tiger, and you have to be very careful and very focused, especially in the art class, not to turn Mona to Mona Lisa. And I would love Oz Rodriguez to understand your journey from Osmani to Oz Rodriguez.
Sure. Well, I was born in La Habana, Cuba, a while ago, and my full name is Osmani Rodriguez. And then when I was 5 months old, we moved to the Dominican Republic. So my dad is Dominican, my mom is Cuban, and I'm going all the way back here. You asked me where that name was. I'm going right to day one. So yeah, we moved to Dominican Republic. That's where I grew up, from the Caribbean. Great place to grew up and live, and I miss it a lot. And I watch a lot of movies. I think I got it from my mom. She also enjoys a lot of movies, so I think I sort of caught on to that from my mother. But yeah, I always loved movies. And then as the sort of these special features and these making ofs started coming out attached to these movies, you could see the people behind the scene and the director and the people making the sets and the costumes, and you saw sort of like, oh, there's people behind this. This is actually work. But I was in the Caribbean. I was like, I don't know, it seems insane. So in the Caribbean, I studied advertising for a second, and I did not like it, but saved enough money to go to Los Angeles to go to a film school called the Los Angeles Film School. And there I did the film school. After it was done, I thought Hollywood was going to be like, here you are, here are the keys to Hollywood. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. So I started making shorts, sketches with my friends, and we put them online. And this is like when YouTube was starting, which sounds very old now, but yeah, and that led to so me and my friends got hired at this website called Super Deluxe first, which was a website that it was a comedic website. It just had a lot of fun comedic sketches. It was really cool for like a year, and then they ran out of money, and then I became a teacher at the film school, and whew, let's not talk about that. I was an okay teacher. I obviously didn't want to be there, but then we got hired at Funny or Die, which is the website that started by people like Will Ferrell and Adam McKay, and that was really cool. That was almost like a new film school because I started working with bigger budgets, a little bit bigger budgets, and with crew, and I started working with sort of celebrities of all kinds, like really famous to maybe not so famous. But it was really cool. It really sort of prepared me for SNL, because after being there for 3 years, I got a call from Saturday Night Live, and they hired me, and that completely changed my life. So I was at Saturday Night Live for 7-ish years. Did all kinds of crazy things there. It was the most insane workplace I've ever been at, but it really I learned so much as a director, and that really opened up many other doors for directing episodic TV and movies, and now I'm on VH Berries. So there you go. I might have missed something there, but that's how I got to this podcast.
Your last sentence was so unexpected. And you are now on VH Berries, and I would love to discuss about your experiences working at SNL, Saturday Night Live, because this is a place that you call the Hogwarts of comedy.
Yes, it is the Hogwarts. That's my joke. The Hogwarts of comedy. It's an institution. It's almost 50 years old. A variety show with the best comedians that have ever been, at least in American culture. They've so many of them have gone through that place. So I came in as a director for they call it the pre-tapes. The pre-tapes are anything that's not live. That includes like a commercial parody or a music video parody or a trailer or what kind of everybody calls it digital shorts. And it was really everything's fast. I'll start with that. So for example, you get a script for a sketch Wednesday night. And then that has to be on Thursday you prep for it. So you go and try to find the locations and try to figure out what everybody's wearing and all that kind of stuff. Friday you shoot it, and then Saturday it's on TV for millions of people to watch. So it was really stressful to get into that time crunch, because it goes by so fast, and it feels like everybody in the world is watching it, even though it's not, but it just feels like so many people are watching it, because like millions of people watch it live, and then also online it has a different life. So it was truly the most crazy and exciting job I've ever had, and maybe will ever have.
If I understood correctly, Oz Rodriguez, you were directing the segment fictional part, what we can, for example, call the skit. And there is, if I understood correctly, also a difference in the way you are working with, for example, directing live television and content that is pre-recorded. Can you tell us a little bit more about those major differences?
Yeah, I personally didn't work on the live part. I worked on the stuff that was shot, and then we edited, and it was put on the air. But it almost feels like it's live because we have very, very little time. So the show is shot in a stage in the theater. There's an audience there. It really is live, and the host comes out and they're like, "Hello, hi, welcome to Saturday Night Live," and they do their monologue. So while that's happening, we're like editing and like trying to finish our video so that it can go on the air. So I've worked on other episodes of television, like 30 Rock and Keenan and stuff like that, and Bupkis, and you just have a lot of time to make decisions. You have more time to shoot. You have 5 days to shoot an episode. But at SNL, you have Friday morning to shoot a short sketch. So it is running by the seat of your pants. So the show itself, like I was saying, has this live component where the performers go out there and do a sketch. It has music, and then it has these videos that play on the screen, and that's what I worked on. It's not necessarily live, but there's so little time to put those videos together that it is its own insanity, if you will. So that was my part of SNL, getting on that crazy roller coaster.
Getting on this crazy roller coaster, Oz Rodriguez, and you ventured and you left the the program, to do your own thing, and I suspect you of leaving the program because you want to come back in a few years as the guest doing the monologue.
I don't know. That seems like a lot of work. I have come back. I do come back. I'm still very much friends with everybody there and the producers. So I came back this last season to help out because someone had COVID and they couldn't work that week. So I came in and directed an episode. So I very much still related to them, but I don't think I could ever be on. That's crazy. Like, hello, live? No, thank you. No, I like to be behind the camera. This even is too much for me. Like I'm on camera here. This is as much as I get, as much as I can do.
Absolutely, but maybe that the time will change your personal opinion. And
Maybe.
if one day it happens, I am not going to send you my contact card to be your blueberry backup dancer, but I'm going to send you a cue card because this is one of the episodes of the series that you produced and directed called Creating Saturday Night Live.
Creating Saturday Night Live was a series that I made with some friends. That it came out of working at Saturday Night Live and seeing a lot of documentaries that were about the process, how the show works, but they were really about the producers, the cast, and sometimes the writers. But there's so many amazing people that work there behind the scenes, so many very talented crafts people that do some of the best work in entertainment industry, I think. And I wanted to showcase that. Like, for example, the people in the makeup department, the people in the hair department who make those amazing wigs in a couple days, and the people in the art department, the photographer, Mary Ellen, who takes all these amazing photos of the host. So all these people that are really, really so good at their job. I just wanted to do a little documentary and ask them a ton of questions and see how they do what they do. And also at the same time, kind of celebrate them because they're I feel like they're so talented, you know?
They are very talented, and in definitive, I feel that Oz Rodriguez is now a director, a philosopher, but also a masterclass giver because, and through creating a Saturday Night Live, because I've learned so much. And I mentioned, for example, the cue cards, and I would never believe before that there were, and there are, 8 people supporting Wally Fair-Reston, Matt, Brian, Pete, Todd, Danny, Roman, Steve, and Alex that are writing on paper cards.
Yeah, this is that is exactly why we made the show. So sometimes people think that it's recorded, or that the actors know that they're reading. I don't know, they know all the lines, or that it's on a computer. So I don't know. Like I wanted to show how hard and technical and demanding this show is, and how amazing everybody is, because they're writing these cards, and then sometimes they have to rewrite them during the show. Like sometimes there's a change, and they're like, "Oh my God, you got to go card number 3, and the joke is this." You know, so it's really exciting to showcase that how the show worked for people that like yourself, like that didn't know how that is a system that they still use to this day.
Absolutely, Oz Rodriguez, and you finally won an Emmy Award after two previous nominations, the two previous years. Does this victory making you a better gardener?
It did. It didn't make me a better gardener, but it did make me very happy. Obviously, yeah, we got nominated a few times, and it truly is very amazing, and it's an honor to be nominated. And like, you go to this event that is, it's a big wild thing in Hollywood, and the after party is really fun and exciting, but it is definitely something different when you go up there and win. I don't remember what I said. I think I blanked out. Honestly, I was very very nervous. I just wanted to know early if we had won or lost, because the award show can be long, and of course I had to go to the bathroom, and I was worried that if I went to the bathroom, of course they were going to do the award as I'm in the bathroom. So I'm like, can you guys just get to it, please? So that's what was happening as they said our names. I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. Let's go. So yeah, it was a really exciting thing, but it has not helped me garden. I'm having a moment right now. I'm now gardening. It's my hobby. It's been a rough week. I've got some casualties. I need to do some research on how to keep my plants alive, but it's part of the process. The circle of life, if you will. You win an Emmy, you lose a jalapeno plant.
We don't want to lose your plan, Oz Rodriguez, and during your time working at Saturday Night Live, you actually sent a text. 4 words. We need a horse. And now, after this victory, you can send 5 words in this text. I need stable horses.
That is a true story. We had a video to make and a sketch, and Thursday there is a rewrite table, so they try to make the sketches even funnier. People are adding as many jokes as possible, and sometimes they add a prop or something that needs to be added to the set, and that became a horse. So Thursday afternoon, I was texting the producer, get me a horse. We need a horse. And we had a horse by the next day, which is how insane that show is, where you could be like, give me a horse, and all of a sudden there's a horse in Brooklyn, New York on a very cold day for one joke, for one shot. I love it.
Your decision changed the life of this particular horse, and in the future you are now able to call entire horses stables.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Oz Rodriguez.
I changed that horse's life. I hear the horse moved to Hollywood, and the horse had a huge rise to fame, and I'll see if the horse is still around and remembers me.
I am looking forward to see some updates on your garden, on the flowers, the fruits, the vegetables, and maybe the animals that are going to grow in this little piece of paradise. Thank you very much, Oz Rodriguez.
You're welcome. I don't know about the animals though. The squirrels ate my lettuce, so they're not my friend this week.